Everyone ignored the old man in the rain until one biker stopped. The rain fell steadily on a cold November evening in Manchester, England. Streetlights reflected off the wet pavement, and most people hurried home to escape the weather. But on a quiet sidewalk near an old bus stop, an elderly man sat alone. His name was Arthur Williams, a 78-year-old retired carpenter. He wore a thin brown coat soaked from the rain and clutched a small paper bag tightly in his trembling hands. Inside the bag was a birthday cake. Today was his granddaughter's birthday. He had promised her he would come, but the buses had stopped running because of the storm. His phone battery was dead, and the cold wind made it hard for him to breathe. Arthur tried to stand, but his legs shook. He slowly sat back down on the bench, coughing weakly. Cars passed by without stopping. People walked past without noticing. Then suddenly, roar! The loud sound of a motorcycle echoed through the empty street. A black bike pulled over near the bus stop. The rider removed his helmet, revealing a man in his mid-30s with tired but kind eyes. His name was Jake Turner. Jake was a delivery driver and a former Army mechanic. He had just finished a long shift and was heading home when he noticed the old man sitting alone in the rain. Something didn't feel right. Jake parked his motorcycle and walked toward him. Sir, are you okay?" he asked gently. Arthur looked up slowly. His lips trembled as he tried to speak. I'm fine," he said weakly. "I'm just waiting for the bus." Jake glanced at the empty road. There were no buses, no taxis, no one else around. "You're soaked," Jake said. "And it's freezing out here." Arthur smiled softly. "I promised my granddaughter I'd come to her birthday," he explained. "She turns 8 today. I didn't want to disappoint her." Jake felt a tight knot in his chest. He remembered his own grandfather, the man who had raised him after his parents passed away. Without hesitation, Jake removed his thick riding jacket and gently placed it around Arthur's shoulders. The old man's eyes widened. No. "You'll get cold," Arthur protested. "I'll be fine," Jake replied with a warm smile. "But you won't be if you stay here." Jake noticed the paper bag in Arthur's hands. "What's in there?" he asked. Arthur carefully opened the bag to reveal a small pink birthday cake, slightly tilted but still intact. "Ori?" "Well, I saved my pension money to buy it," he said proudly. Jake took a deep breath. "Where does your granddaughter live?" he asked. Arthur gave him the address. It was nearly 5 miles away. Too far to walk. Too dangerous in this weather. Jake looked at his motorcycle, then back at Arthur. Come on," he said firmly. "I'll take you there." Arthur hesitated. "I've never ridden on a motorcycle before," he admitted nervously. Jake chuckled softly. "Don't worry," he said. "I'll drive slow. I promise." Carefully, Jake helped Arthur stand. Now, he placed a spare helmet on the old man's head and secured it gently. Then he helped him climb onto the back of the motorcycle. The rain continued to fall as the engine started. Roar! They rode slowly through the wet streets of Manchester. Cars splashed water, wind blew against them. But Jake drove carefully, protecting his passenger every step of the way. Arthur held the cake tightly against his chest. For the first time that night, he smiled. 15 minutes later, the motorcycle stopped in front of a small brick house decorated with colorful balloons. Through the window, children could be seen laughing and playing. Jake turned off the engine. "We're here," he said. Arthur's hand shook as he climbed off the bike. Before he could knock, the front door suddenly opened. A little girl ran outside. Grandpa!" she shouted excitedly. She jumped into his arms, hugging him tightly. "You came," she cried. Arthur's eyes filled with tears. "I promised, didn't I?" he whispered. The girl noticed Jake standing beside the motorcycle. "Who is he?" she asked. Arthur smiled warmly. "He's the reason I made it here," he said. The girl ran toward Jake and hugged him unexpectedly. "Thank you for bringing my grandpa," she said. Jake felt his throat tighten. Inside the house, the family invited him to join the birthday party. At first, he refused politely. But Arthur insisted. Please," he said. "Your family now?" So Jake stepped inside. They shared cake, laughter, and warm tea while the storm raged outside. For the first time in years, Jake didn't feel alone. An hour later, he prepared to leave. Arthur walked him to the door. "You son," the old man said softly, placing a hand on Jake's shoulder. "Tonight, you didn't just give me a ride." He paused, his voice trembling. "You gave me a memory I'll carry for the rest of my life." Jake smiled gently. Sometimes, he replied, we all need someone to stop and care. He put on his helmet, started the motorcycle, and rode off into the rainy night. But from that day forward, every Sunday afternoon, Jake visited the little brick house in Manchester, not as a stranger, not as a delivery driver, but as family.